I get this question all the time. Why do you make videos specifically for tinnitus, Eustachian tube dysfunction, patchless Eustachian tube disorder, basically all conditions of the ear and problems of the ear? Why don't you do something like a little bit more experimental for the masses of the world? Maybe like adventure content or gaming or something that appeals to a large market to possibly budget and bank on that later and maybe possibly get your recognition from a larger audience doing that? Well, I'm going to answer that question here. But before I do, my purpose really is to do something very meaningful. And so to talk about these conditions, resonate with a condition that I had. And when I do content, I like to think that I have an experience to share with the world. Something that isn't really being talked about as much, something that could be talked about more, should be talked about more. So that's what thrives me. That's what runs the engine here for me. And so that is why I make content, particularly for the market of those that are dealing with all these different problems and symptoms and conditions that they're facing when it comes to this condition. Now to answer the question, why don't I do content that appeals to a larger audience and something that will make me just pop off like that? That's because it doesn't appeal to me. It really doesn't make me feel excited to get out of bed, honestly. When I look back at what I've been doing and what I continue to do, it makes me feel proud that I'm providing something to those out there, all of you out there that probably feel lost in this small market and probably feel like you're not getting the recognition and the help that you need. Recognition in the sense that when you do feel like you found answers for something, you feel like you have a way to pull people through some dark times, it's nothing better than jumping in and being the leader for that. So that's really why I do content for this particular condition. That's why I started a brand based on more about these conditions. And then obviously I throw in a lot of other health and wellness topics. But this video is really to just, it's not to question what I do. This video is to just answer it in a mass form that I love doing this kind of content, because this really helps me feel like I'm providing to a lot of you out there. And when you feel like you're providing something that the world could use and needs, it's only going to thrive you and make you just a better person. And so I've gotten through my years of having this condition very eagerly, very desperately. And now I can sit back a little bit. When I mean sit back, now I can lean back a little bit and try to not only draw up more content that's going to help others, but do it in a way where I have more time devoted to helping others while not facing all the problems that I was facing myself. I mean, it was really hard sometimes to put 2 good days together back to back. And a lot of you are not able to put 2 days together, not even able to put maybe 2 hours together. And this is why I feel like there's more here. There's more that's needed here. But to get more into like ETD and the things that's going to help you get through this condition, to make a long story short, the conditions and the problems and the symptoms of tinnitus and Eustachian tube dysfunction are simply not going away. They're just going to be more and more prevalent as time goes on, and they're going to be more in the face of others, and people aren't going to really know what it is. It's one of those things that isn't like talked about in the media very often, because it's not something that, let's just say it's not something that we want to all hope it doesn't take lives away. But we want to start now, because as it continues to grow, as the numbers continue to get higher, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And on top of that, it weighs on the mind, it weighs on the brain, it weighs on the thoughts and feelings that you have day to day. It's always until something becomes a major travesty or a major pandemic that we start putting the right hands in place, start electing the right people to get involved with it. We start, identifying leaders to come in and do this and do that. And so it's not until that the numbers grow and the numbers get too out of hand to where we need to start putting our people in place. And I don't want to be like that. I want to come in when the condition is at a point where it's not obsessive, it's not detrimental, but to those individuals that are dealing with it, trust me, it is detrimental. But in the sense that it's not something that is taking lives away yet. Hopefully we don't get to that point. But right now, it's very important that we we put a certain sense of eagerness towards these problems. And so that's what I'm doing. And for those out there that are dealing with this condition, you have to document what you're going through. You have to put everything into almost like a journal. What I mean by that is it's not just a matter of doing the same thing every day. This is what makes it hard to heal from tinnitus and ETD and patulous, PET, TMJ problems, the joint, is because every day there's a different storyline. Every day there's something different going on. Like it's not a trackable issue, you know? It's not a trackable situation where you can like figure out what didn't you do better yet. Like it's something that isn't on a guidebook. And I think that's why when you go into the doctor, you get all these mixed answers and concerns, because it's not something that you can really lay out and say, all right, if I follow this, I'm going to be able to find the answers to that. A plus B equals C and 1 plus 2 equals 3. It's not one of those things. So, and I'm telling you all of this right now, you can come up with your own journal, your own guidebook. I'm telling you right now firsthand. You need to, the best thing is if you can find the energy, because this takes energy. Healing takes energy. To the act of finding resources for yourself to heal is a very energetic and very complex ordeal when you're not in a good mood. Let's just keep it real. You have to find the energy levels to heal yourself. Sometimes you can't just get up and start doing things. Sometimes I'm gonna be honest, there was times where it was just a task to even drink water when I was in the deepest end of these problems. I was just tired of doing things for myself all the time, tired of having to take this, tired of having to do this. It becomes an overwhelming task to just do basic things for yourself. Oh, I got to stretch today. But when you start to journal it, I have a journaling book that I have out right now. Now, I'm telling you that this book is for sale, but I'm also telling you, you don't have to buy this book. You can journal everything you're doing for yourself. Now, this book was my journal. Everything you see in this book was everything I went through and everything I tried step by step, from step 1 all the way to the last step. Everything from massages to taking certain medications to drinking certain fluids to taking and eating certain foods. Everything from mental health to the best stretches to the types of things you should do and shouldn't do. Now, when I say you shouldn't do and shouldn't do, I don't mean you in particular you. I mean, you're going to figure out what your journal is when you go through this. Everyone has their own journal. What I mean is this book is going to help all of you out there process of eliminate things that you probably don't want to waste your time on and things that might not work. So the idea of healing from ETD is the ability to process of eliminate and strategically. So what I mean by that is I got to a point where I did X, Y, and Z, and I realized that those particular things were things that either helped move the needle or didn't help move the needle. So when you're going through this problem, you're going to have to identify what helps move your needle and what's going to help make you feel better, because you're going to have to create an entire blueprint. And now, as I speak to you, I know a lot of you might feel a little overwhelmed by this conversation, and I really don't want to do that. But let me get to the punchline here. As you get through what you're feeling, as you start to get through it, because you will get through it, as you start to figure out what works and what doesn't work, the clear objective is going to be so much in your face as you go through and weave, bob and weave through this condition, that eventually you're going to get to a certain set of strategic elements that are going to work for you. You're going to stick to them, and this thing's going to go away. It's going to go away because you're going to refuse to not let it go away. Step 1. Put the idea in your mind that you're not going to let this thing stay on you forever. You're not going to surrender to it. You're going to keep pushing through it. What I did was I journaled everything from appointments, type of appointments, acupuncture, cupping, all of these things. Journaled everything. Then I got to a point where I only had a few things left that could help, that I could do, really, to be honest. When I realized I got to the last tail end of things to try, that's when I actually started feeling better. For everything that I scratched off my list that didn't work, or didn't move the needle, some of them made me go backwards. Some of them just didn't do anything. I scratched them off anyways. If it's not helping me move the needle and it's just keeping me stagnant, even keeping me stagnant is not what I want off my list. When you start to get to that point, you'll realize I'm closer and closer to healing. You have to really dive deep. So when I created this book, and this book is a lot of you are buying this book not because I have the answer and you have to buy it to get the answer. I'm buying this book to open your eyes to things that you need to probably do for yourself. It's almost like, oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that book. It's not I have the answer book and I won't share it with you until you buy the book. It's not that kind of book. It's a book that says, oh, wait a minute, let me try that. Wait a minute, let me not try it. It's a book to see what you haven't done and cross-reference what you should do, what you might want to do for yourself. And eventually it gets you to the answer, hopefully faster, because you didn't have to think about what you didn't even know to think about. See, if you don't know what you should think about to try, you're not going to find it because you don't know what it is that you're trying to find, because you can't think of nothing out of nothing. You have to be targeted to something in order to think if it's something or not for you. I hope that made sense. Basically, if you don't know something, you won't think of something. So this book will help you think of something to decide if it's something you want to do for yourself. And if it is something that you want to do for yourself, then hopefully it either works or it doesn't work, so you can take it off your list. And if you take it off your list, you're actually moving the needle because it's one less thing to worry about that's not going to help you. So that's why this book is very special to me, because it's not an answer-all book. It's a cross-reference book for what you need to do for yourself and what you may not want to do for yourself. But remember, whatever I'm doing might spark interest in what you should do. So then you'll go out and do it. And hopefully that's your answer and what you've been missing with your body, your genetics, your DNA, your mental aspect, everything that you're going through. Hopefully that sets off your train of healing, your rhythm of healing. And so that you could find that peaceful, enjoyable, enriching life that you've been looking for, that you've been robbed from for months, years, weeks, days, hours, minutes. And so that's why this video was created for you all to find what's going to be good for you. And for all of you out there that are questioning or thinking, why this, why that? Well, I'm just a different kind of content creator. I'm not a content creator that uses the platform for just fun. I use the platform to help guide others in something they can't guide themselves on. That's just me. I'm not here to have fun. Of course, having fun is important, but I'm here to work. I'm here to work. I'm here to work to help move the needle for all of you out there, because I remember being there and my needle was way towards the E side, not the full side. And the goal of this channel, the Jaye Wellness Studio, the brand, me, whoever, is to get you to the full side so you can live a full lifestyle. I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, please take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content as often as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to step out of the Jaye Wellness Studio and leave you in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, we are here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.